Please welcome creator of the Game Awards, Jeff Keighley.
Jeff Keighley? Tak się jego wymawia nazwisko? Serio? Okej, no dobra.
How you guys doing? Welcome to E3 Coliseum 2019. You guys having a good E3 so far? All right, well, we have 3 days of panels and talks here at the E3 Coliseum, and it's, I think, the best lineup we've had. This is the 3rd year of the Coliseum, and the reason we do this is to bring the game creators closer to the fans. So all of you guys that are here, we just have an amazing lineup of stuff across 3 days. Lots of great highlights today. We've got lots of big...
Siema Bartko, no tak właśnie się zastanawiałem, czemu ciebie nie było na tym, na Nintendo?
More continues. We've got Jack Black here with Jablinski Games live for the first time, which is going to be awesome. And we just announced yesterday, Thursday, we're going to have Elon Musk and Todd...
O właśnie! Zapomniałem o tym powiedzieć. Elon Musk będzie tutaj. Z Toddem Howardem będzie rozmowa. Co? W ogóle mnie to tak rozjebało, jak ja o tym dzisiaj rano przeczytałem.
Mixer and Facebook. You guys will get to see all these panels over the next 3 days, and we're so excited to bring them to you. So, without further ado, let's get to our first session of the day. These guys had a big moment on Sunday. We're talking Gears 5. Yes. And we have an awesome panel for you. There's going to be some news related to the game on this panel, so you definitely are going to get a special treat if you're watching or here in the audience. So without further ado, let's kick things off. And to lead us through this panel, please welcome the head of the coalition, Rod Ferguson, and WWE superstar, Austin Creed. What's going on, everybody? Red and black. How are you? Good to see you. How's everything?
Good, how are you?
Good to see you guys again. All right, enjoy the panel.
Thank you very much. What's going on, everybody? Good. So, Gears of War 5, you guys kind of excited about it? Just a little bit. So you kind of excited about it? There we go.
Weirdly, you know how to work a crowd. That's strange. I don't know how that happens.
Maybe once or twice.
So weird.
I know, it's strange. This is a nice setup.
It is.
Wow.
This is comfy.
Thank you guys for being here. We appreciate it. Gears of War 5, obviously, had some big news that dropped. And Rod.
Yeah, it's we ship date. So we're coming out September 10th, September 6th with early access. So hopefully you're all going to be online September 10th. And we announced our new mode, debuted our new mode, Escape,
yes.
Which is our 3-player co-op aggressive multiplayer mode. You plant the bomb, and you get inside the hive, you plant the bomb, and you fight your way out. And
so much fun. So essentially, when we got to pick the game up and play it, it's one of those games where you're sitting local co-ops, you're sitting with your friends in chairs on the couch, whatever, and you find out in the next 10 minutes, we're just gonna be screaming at each other while we're staring at the screen. I feel like that's something that not so many games have nowadays, so to be able to have that awesome local co-op experience, it feels good.
Yeah, I mean, co-op, we'd like to say co-op is cake, not icing to Gears of War. Right? Like every time we come to the game, it's always about the co-op. And because co-op is just a short form for shared experience. And every time we meet fans, we did a poster signing last night, it's all about the stories, about shared experience. Like, this is how me and my brother stay together. I met my girlfriend, and now we're married, and we had cut the cake with the Lancer. And, it's all...
Świetna kurwa historia miłosna. Poznaliśmy się grając w Gears of War. Lubimy napierdalać, cokolwiek się napierdala w Gears of Warze.
Grow in the ways that it has, and the fact that we've got this escape mode, and it's so much fun, and it's so intricate and so detailed, and just such a good time. We appreciate me sitting on the side. I appreciate you doing this.
Well, and it's one thing of a bunch of different beats. It's one of the things people keep like, hey, how come you haven't shown campaign gameplay? And part of it is like Gears 5. We want to challenge expectations, and we looked like 6 minutes of campaign gameplay with Rod playing it on stage is kind of like almost like every Gears at E3. And so we wanted to, we said last year we had our campaign moment. We've got so much in the box, and so it was like, okay, this time we're going to talk about Escape. We knew Escape was going to be on the floor, so let's put Escape on the stage. And then, like, July, we've got our Versus Tech Test, so everybody else can play. If you pre-order, you're part of Game Pass, you'll get in. And we'll have our, in August at Gamescom, we're doing Horde. And so you'll be able to go deep in Horde and find out what's going on there. And then September, we come back to the story and really talk about campaign and talk about Kate's story. So kind of over the summer, from now until launch, it's just jam-packed full of information.
Yeah. So before the game even comes out, you've already got a story progression there.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
We got a little video.
Yeah, I figured, hey, maybe not everybody saw the show, so why don't we give you, the intention of this trailer was to give you a feeling of what it feels like to play Escape. And so why don't we run that?
Trochę szkoda, bo ja bardziej liczyłem od strony historii, jeśli chodzi o Gearsy, a nie koniecznie o te tryby multi-co-op i tak dalej.
Everything except the need for revenge. This might look like a surrender, but it's not. It's an invasion.
No i to jest dokładnie ten sam trailer, który widzieliśmy na konferencji Microsoftu. Bodajże go zreuploadowałem już, chociaż nie jestem teraz pewien. Ja nie lubię szczerze takich akcji. To takie bardzo gorem zaleciało, wiecie, dużo krwi, flaków w ogóle.
Because you're an aggressive player, we would
Just
say.
a touch, just a touch. So I got hype about the electric knife because it's one of the ultimates that's in the game. So it's Lonnie's, and you just run in and you start stabbing everyone. It's so good. And so obviously playing with two other people, there were situations where I'd say, hey, I'm going in, just cover me or pick me up when I die, but I gotta just go in and do this. And so Lonnie, can you give us a little bit of information about her?
Yeah, so we basically we wanted Escape to have its own identity. We didn't want it to be, like, it's 3 characters, and we could have said, okay, let's do a screenshot with JD, Kate, and Dell, and it would look like, oh, it might be they're going into a hive in the campaign, or like you wouldn't understand what it was about. So we wanted it to have its own identity. And so having 3 different characters, Lonnie, Keegan, and Mac, would stand out in screenshots. And then we said, well, this is actually an opportunity to world build. We have create fully new characters with full backstories. And so we're working with Curtis Wiebe to work on this, this great Hivebuster comic book series. At first issue's already out, paints the backstory for the characters, and you can actually get really invested in them. And so, yeah, Lonnie is our battle-hardened. She's sort of new to the war, like as part of the cleanup squads after Gears 3, and so some stuff goes wrong. She ends up in prison, and that's kind of what these guys are. They're a suicide squad, but they're not. There's no bomb in their neck. They have their own reasons for doing it. Lonnie is sort of she's the adrenaline junkie. She does it she gets her kicks, but she's also trying to get back to her squad. Mac is an outsider, so he was never part of the military, and he's doing it for vengeance. His whole village got wiped out by the swarm, and he's got nothing left. So this is just a pure vengeance play for him. But he's the tank, so he has a barrier shield, and he can protect people while you're having to get somebody back, getting you back up after you had your stabbing frenzy.
Always revive me.
And then Keegan, who's sort of the old guard, he's a former Onyx guard, and he's looking for redemption. He basically served on Azura, which is the secret island in Gears 3. He never got to really see the war, and he saw his brethren die in the war, and he was like protecting VIPs, sort of a glorified bodyguard, and he really feels like, you know, that he never had his chance. And so now he's trying to redeem himself by going back and destroying the swarm and kind of helping to sort of be the fatherly advice for the squad. And he's a support class, so he has a resupply station. So ammo is so, you know, sparse.
So important. So important.
There's hardly any ammo, because when you get taken by the Snatcher to go in, you only have your pistol and your knife, and so you have to, everything you have to get in the level you get by scavenging. So every kill is now a new weapon. Every kill is some ammo, and having Keegan drop a resupply station is huge. So yeah, so we're really excited about having that sort of balance between the three classes and how you play together. But as you saw, there's the communication between the three players, but it's also the overlap of how you use the ultimate abilities. And then, you know, there's 8 different difficulty levels. So the harder you play on, you know, you're trying to get to a point where you master it on the 8th difficulty level. And then once you master it, you want to go fast, because that's really a speed run mode that you'll put a speed up on a leaderboard, and you compare yourself against everybody else. And then every once in a while, the top of the leaderboard will get a reward for that with some sort of cosmetic. So I kind of simplified down to get good and then get fast.
There we go. That's the tagline. One of the things that I think is really cool about it is the fact that it's so replayable. Like, a lot of times I feel like there's modes in games where, oh, we have this new thing, but then once you play it once or twice and you're kind of beat it, it's, oh, I'm done with it. But this, you can play it constantly and so much, and there's so much to get into. And the whole video, picking up guns and seeing all the different things, like you said, the teamwork between the players,
right.
The fact that they can jump in, they're like ground and pounding you, and somebody has to come and save you. Like, it does such a good job of showing what you actually have to do when the game is going on.
And the way that the hives are built, there was a tile system, and so we're able to build hives really quickly. So we're going to be putting them out in a regular cadence, and so in every hive will be different, and we'll have different difficulty, you know, modifiers. And what's great is we're actually shipping with a map builder, so the community and the players can build maps too, build their own hives. So like once you show that you
Okej, czyli jak rozumiem, te levele będą generowane lekko proceduralnie i będzie można tworzyć swoje własne.
Make all the hardest hives, and we'll try to see what we can do with them.
Exactly.
So we got the hive busters. Is there anything else that we should know about?
So as you saw at the end of the announce on E3 is we're really excited to have this partnership. So if you pre-order or if you play the first week in Game Pass, you will receive the Terminator Dark Fate character pack, which will get you the Gears of War T-800 and Sarah Connor, which is super exciting for us. We love that franchise. So, and it's an amazing opportunity just to work with great partners.
Yeah. So obviously, does anybody in here like Terminator? Yeah, give it up.
No tak, bo się zastosowali przedwczoraj na Microsoftie, że będzie coś z Terminatorem.
Something that's huge for me. I love it. So without further ado, let's watch a little video.
O, czyżby coś więcej było o tym Terminatorze? Czy to samo, co było na Microsoftie? Coś więcej, bo na Microsoftie się skończyło na tej poprzedniej scenie. Tu jeszcze mam coś live action.
So at this time, we'd like to bring to the stage Jesse Siskold. He is the president and COO of Skyday.
Mówisz, Bartka, że to był zwiastun do nowego Terminatora? Możliwe, nie wiem, nie widziałem.
What got you guys talking? How did this come about?
Well, should we start with the fact that I beat you in arm wrestling backstage? should we leave that? Should we leave that out of it? Or?
I thought we weren't going to talk about this.
No, I mean, hopefully, like a lot of you, I mean, we grew up just idolizing T1 and T2. Those were core movies that inspired me and a lot of the David Ellison, who founded our company, to fight and put back together the Terminator franchise. Ultimately, bring back James Cameron, who birthed this baby. And if you talk to him, there's only been 2 Terminator movies, period, he's aware of. And so we're picking right back up off of T2 and there really can't be a Terminator without Linda Hamilton, also kind of the ultimate iconic badass in there.
100%. And so obviously, big fan of the Terminator series yourself.
Yeah.
So how did you feel when you started getting to this point of having Terminator in the Gears universe?
Well, it maps so well. You know, we look at what happened where Kate is, her journey. You know, she's going from an outsider into to a warrior. And it's kind of the same journey that Sarah has. You know, having this sort of like, a civilian into now this warrior, as you see in the clip. And so we felt like that parallel path. And so I was really excited about having Sarah Connor be a character in the game in our universe. There's going to be something really awesome because of that parallel and just that strong female lead character. And what's even more awesome is that Linda's actually going to do the voice of the in the game, so it's going to be super good.
You're giving me so many good things right now. Okay, so like you said, so we're mashing these things up, and it's such an awesome thing, and it makes so much sense because the universes have so many strong characters. So to be able to have them both in the same place, it's just gonna feel good to everybody, I feel. Ooh, check this out.
Yeah, so one of the things, you know,
that caught me off guard, sorry.
Gears has an iconic art style, and so proportions and those sorts of things. And so we've taken the T800 and kind of Gearsified it a little bit. And so you see new things like the emissive down the center of the chest, and that's part of the, friend versus foe. When you're dealing with multiplayer, you want to have a little bit of red on the bad guys and a little bit of blue on the good guys kind of thing. I guess that's depending on your perspective. And so that was something that was great working in the partnership, that we had that freedom to be able to do some stuff like that, to change the proportions a little bit, and to be able to add some lights and things like that to be able to identify them when you're playing multiplayer. And those characters like Sarah and as well will carry over into other modes as well. So it's going to be really exciting to be able to play it. And again, to hear Linda's voice in your head is going to be amazing.
Yeah, it's going to be so good.
I think, we're known as a Hollywood company because we make movies and television, but we, have a pretty hardcore interactive DNA. I mean, David, our founder, is very hardcore. He was as a kid, wired up on Halo and then eventually jumped over the Emergence Day. And we are very, very careful about selecting our partnerships. So, we don't have like that ancillary interactive licensing team. That's not how we approach it at all. We talk about, building a universe and honoring the fans. And it just so happens, our director, Tim Miller, who directed Deadpool, started out in cutting game trailers. I'm sure you guys know, even Halo 4. So, the collaboration is it's been amazing, both in creating a very unique T800, but also making sure that we're doing something that really honors the fans of the franchise, both in the...
Ja tu bym ci chciał, Kuba, sprostować, bo jutro nie ma panelu o cyberpunku stricte, tylko jest panel o CD Projekcie, Marcinem Iwińskim. Także tam może być tak średnio, jeśli chodzi o info o cyberpunku.
We have 2 incredible badass female heroes. They're on a very similar mission in terms of, they're sort of outsiders that were brought in to try to conquer fate. And save humanity, small task. But no, honestly, I mean, you're not going to see a Terminator or Angry Bird or something. I mean, this is, we're
Terminator, Angry Birds, tak jest. Give me this shit.
About honoring fans and making sure that there's integrity back with this franchise.
Yeah. Well, I think that's really good to hear, because I feel like a lot of times nowadays things just get mashed up just to mash them up. So to see 2 things that I definitely feel should be together because they work so well together is awesome. So it's amazing to hear that you feel that way.
Yeah, it's also sort of how we deal with Gears as well. Like, we always want to do things that are authentic and high quality. The things, even with our licensing, when we look at, when I first came back to the Coalition in 2014, we were talking about starting up the licensing group again, and it was like, okay, what do we do? And I was like, I don't want any plastic wallets, I don't want any flip-flops, I don't want any knickknacks. Like, if it's going to be cool, it has to be cool. Like, it has to, do the right version of it, do the high-end version of it. And the same is true for relationships and partnerships. I feel like this fits because, like, we are such fans of this franchise, and I feel like it feels like the world fits together, especially when you see how they've been Gearsified. Like, it just fits, and it feels really, really good. And so I'm really excited about it because I feel like it's an authentic partnership. It's not just a tack on.
Yeah. And I think definitely everybody else is just as excited as you guys are, because as soon as you guys showed the clip and the video, everybody's just losing their minds. I'm seeing guys like hugging in the crowd. So definitely you guys hit the nail on the head with this one.
Yeah, appreciate it.
I think it's a nod also to the Coalition and Xbox. That's Sarah, I call her Sarah, but that that Linda is excited to do the voice. I mean, that speaks to sort of the validation of the character in the game too. So we're excited about that.
Yeah, me too. I can't wait to get in the booth.
gonna be awesome. Well, thank you very much. I know you're a busy man.
All good.
You got places to be.
Yeah, all
so
good.
give it up one more time.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now I feel like it's time to meet a new character.
Yes. So.
Mi się przypomniało, nie masz tu Bartko moda, to masz już moda. Jakby co.
Faz Chitani. He said one line, and a lot of people immediately guessed who he was by saying his one line. But I felt like this is a good coming out time. I think that now is the time to let him come out into the light and actually be able to tweet stuff and Instagram stuff because it's been killing him. So,
Okay. Well, let me please introduce, give a warm welcome to Rahul Kohli.
Ja ci podejrzewam, że gościu, który gra tego gościa.
finally.
2 years.
2 years.
I've had to stay away from your social media account. I can't like things. I've been waiting for this. This is incredible. Thank you.
You know, now that iZombie's finishing, I figured you needed a gig.
I do need something.
So you
I
needed a
absolutely
gig. I
do.
figured I'd throw you a bone. You know,
I appreciate it. Mum's really happy I'm back in employment. So
How hard is it to keep something like this under wraps for 2 years?
I mean, the fear of, you don't want to be the one that messes up, right? That keeps you through it. So like, I mean, yesterday I was queuing up to play Escape.
Right.
And I heard people in the line talking about the campaign, and I was like, it's cool. But yeah, I enjoyed it. It's fun to be like one of the only people that know before something. It's kind of cool.
And this was his first game.
Really?
It was, yeah, my first game. Yeah, I hadn't done any voiceover before, and it shows. No, but,
You can hear it. You can hear it. Yeah.
But yeah, I met Rod in Vancouver, and he showed me a picture of Far's casting, and we went for it in the booth, and and then it started, 2 years ago.
No, to jest w sumie dobre pytanie do Redów Kuba, ale wydaje mi się, że nie, że tak to był po prostu cinematic tak zrobiony.
I mean, it's a huge difference. I mean, there's some great positives, like you really can just sort of swing for the fences and not have to worry so much about what your face looks like and I mean, it's all about how it sounds and how it, how it feels. At the same time with Gears, like, the scripts like that, you don't get a PDF of it and study it and go, well, this is my character's, like, you go in the room and then Rod's like, all right, here's where we are, this is what's going on, go. So
Shit's on fire, you're in the desert, go.
Exactly, so like, I don't know, it's so when I get to play it, I kind of get to feel the whole thing, I guess, in a few months. So that's the biggest challenge was like, playing the character, being present in the moment without really knowing what's around the corner, what's happening. That was kind of an interesting experience.
And we always go back. That's the funny. It's interesting because it's not a start at the beginning and record everything and it all makes sense. It's like we'll record some and then we'll come back like months later and then record like interspersed and we'll come back and months later and record interspersed again. So trying to keep like the context straight and like this is where you were and it's an interesting challenge. Like as you're coming in cold, going like where. There's literally stuff where, like, I've talked about a scene with Eugene the other day, and he's like, "What? I don't remember saying that." And I'm like, "Yeah, no, we have the scene. Like, I have the scene of you saying it, but it was like, oh, that was 2 years ago. I don't remember saying that."
I got the receipts.
Yeah, exactly. So it's funny, but yeah, it was just so cool because we, iZombie shoots up in Vancouver, and so it was a great opportunity, friends of friends, and being able to meet Rahul, and then we were just basically. Booked a local soundstage just to do an audition just because he was in Vancouver. You said you didn't know that was an audition.
I didn't. Someone said, do you want to meet Rod? And I was like, yeah. And then I got in and it was a waiting room. I was like, this looks familiar. And then there were sides, like there was the script there. And I was like, oh, am I supposed to be preparing for something? And I was like, oh, okay, here we go. I'm auditioning. I had no idea, but yeah.
And it's one of the things that's great. Like with a lot of times on-camera actors maybe are not used to doing voice. They want that preparation, or they don't give you choices. Like people maybe don't know, when you do voiceover, generally there's a line like, hey, we're going over there. And then when you say, hey, I'm going over there, we want an A, B, and C, which is 3 different versions. And so that we can kind of range find and pick what we like. And that was one of the great things is just instinctually, like very first line, when he did A, B, and C, he did 3 very completely different versions. And so you were able to go like, oh, I really like where you're going with B. Like, could you give me 3 more of that? Or that's it, that kind of stuff. And he already knew not to do the same thing 3 times. Sometimes they just do blah, blah, blah. And you're like, okay, there's no choice there. You know, and the fact that he was really easy to direct, the fact that he always had great choices and he was able to read it and instantly go into it. He didn't have to prepare, you know, and become a method on it. So, although, you know, he is a dick in person. So
Absolutely.
So it was easy to play a dick character.
It's actually funny that after working on Gears, it changed how I approach work at like iZombie and stuff, because
really?
I started giving way more alts. So each take, because I got used to doing ABCs and constantly learning ways to put a comma here or bring this up, like I started doing that in the show.
And your director hated it.
And that's why we're cancelled. That's why it's done. I ruined it. I sunk the ship. So.
But it's got to be fun because, as opposed to acting so on iZombie, so you see the set, you're in the wardrobe. In this, like you're imagining everything in your head, what you look like, where you're going to be. So how does that change how you approach, as opposed to being on camera?
Honestly, it feels like it's almost like improv. Like the character becomes like a wardrobe. That's the only thing you do have, right? You get into character and you immediately have to kind of know how do they sound, what's their energy like, and Rod literally will paint a scenario, and in that moment you go, you know, like, so it's kind of freeing in the sense of like, there's no second guessing. You don't sit, I won't just like sit with that script for 3 hours, you know, just on one little thing, like, could I do this, like, you just go from instinct, and that's quite, like, freeing. You don't second guess yourself, you just have to do it, and it's done. And then they'll play it at E3, and you go, oh, okay,
that's the choice.
That happened.
The thing that happens all the time is because we're choosing, like, so he's giving so many choices, but he doesn't know what choice actually makes it. So it's always funny when the actors, whenever we play a scene, they'll go like, oh, that's the one you chose. It's like, yeah, that's the one we liked. He's like, oh, okay, cool.
Well,
cool.
maybe we'll get that reaction now, because we're going to throw the video.
Yeah,
oh,
so
wow.
We should make sure the lights come down, though. I want to make sure. So it's not campaign gameplay, but I did want to give you is one of the campaign cinematics that we have. So we have an actual cinematic in the game where the squad, JD, Kate, and Del, run across Foz for the first time. And so this is Foz's introduction in the game. So this is the first time you'll see him actually in the campaign when you play the game.
No proszę, czyli dobra, mamy jednak jakieś ekskluzywne rzeczy, których wcześniej nie było. Cinematic. In-game'owy.
Hey, Foz. How's life in Jin's rear echelon treating you?
Brilliant. But then we can't all be off on some secret mission. Oh, yeah? How'd you hear about that? This is an army, not a monastery.
Yeah, okay. Well, look, we'll just leave you to the very important work, punching machines.
And sparring. Hang on a second, shitstick.
Shit stick? Del, theories?
I don't know. Maybe a stick made out of shit?
Or a stick used to stir up shit.
All right, fuck off. How about we make this interesting? You and me spar right now.
And how exactly is beating you interesting?
Yes or no?
You want in on this?
Pretty sure what's actually being measured here is gonna leave me at a distinct disadvantage. Then again, maybe not.
Hilarious. Are you in or not?
Oh, I'm in.
Come on, man. Let's just grab the Jack module and get out of here.
No, this will be fun.
How's that fun working out for you?
Try it again, Foz. Come on. Hey, here's the thing, Foz. The bottle'll spar with you, but not beat you. It's against their programming, but explains your false confidence. Quite a bit, actually.
Want some advice, Phoenix?
No, I'm good.
Jin does love her golden boys. But never for very long.
See, that was fun.
Fuck off!
No dostał w pierdol.
Oh, you went with that one.
Yeah. We like the fuck off at the end.
I immediately love and hate him at the same time.
He's a dick.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's you.
Typecasting. Just that I don't like to stretch the actors very far, so I'm like, if I could, who's the dick? I get, oh yeah, Rob, perfect.
Phone rings. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
How does it feel being able to play that character and be in this role? How does it feel being yourself?
It's going to take some getting used to. Like, every time I've heard my voice, it's come from my mouth. Does that make sense? So it's the
W
first
ogóle
time.
zajebiście jakby Keanu Reeves był na takim panelu i on na przykład opowiadał o takich rzeczach, jak to jest grać Johnnego Silverhanda.
Resemble me, or like another character. That's messing with me right now. It's something I'll have to get used to. But I'm losing it. That was awesome. That was okay, cool.
So they haven't. The cast hasn't seen all the cinematics yet, so it's just one of those things that's like that's probably his first time seeing it in a long time. So
there'll be situations where like you're playing the game and the cast hasn't seen the full.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely. Wow. Yeah, and or what they've seen is like gray box, or they haven't seen stuff without animations and that kind of stuff. Like Foz was inspired. You know, one of the things I really believe in is that in order to get diverse characters, you have to strive for diversity. Like diversity just doesn't happen, especially from the creative mind of a middle-aged white guy. Like that just doesn't happen, right? So you have to find, you have to focus on it. And one of the things as we looked across, the Gears of War universe was that we didn't really have this sort of South Asian, sort of ethnicity in the cast. And so we actually went and Foz was really, created from that. We were like, okay, we purposely want to create a character that has this ethnicity, and then it was like, okay, what's the right voice for this character? And that's when landed in again, the friend of friends of Rahul. It was perfect. And then when he came in and we showed him what Foz looked like, and he began to do the voice that he's doing, and it's amazing. It was a perfect fit, and I just love it so much. And so it was great. I mean, that's one of the things I really love is having this sort of diverse cast and having these really unique voices. And the thing is that they're just all so talented, and they all get along, and they're also all crazy. So you're about to see that very shortly. But there's an energy to the cast that they're the best cast in video game as far as I'm concerned. I know I'm heavily biased, but they're just amazing, and Rahul is just an amazing addition. Like it's just he rounds the cast so perfectly.
Well, that's one thing that I think is really interesting about Gears is obviously the gameplay is great, but the script, the story, but obviously the cast is so important. You guys do such a good job. So what do you guys say we bring out the rest of the cast?
Yeah.
All right.
Okej, czyli widzę, zamieniać to w panel ogólnie rozmów z aktorami, którzy podkładają głosy dla postaci w kampanii. No spoko.
We got Liam McIntyre, who plays JD Phoenix. We got Laura Bailey, who's Kate Diaz. Woo! Yeah. And we have John DiMaggio, who's Marcus Phoenix.
He's a little unknown actor we picked up.
I'm digging this hat, though.
This hat, it's a custom hat, nice hat. Got it for my 50th birthday party for my agents because I make them nice money. I make them a little money, so they gave me a hat. That's nice.
One thing I want to touch on, so backstage, just seeing them all interact, like you can tell you guys are a family. It's not like you're just coming in, doing a job, doing the voice and rolling out. Like, you guys are friends. There's love here.
Acting's a full-time job. We do it backstage.
We can fake it in the booth. We can fake it back.
Yeah,
man.
You don't see us all the time, so this is fun.
You guys are the best then, man. How's it feel directing this amazing cast?
Chaotic. It's super chaotic.
Is it like herding cats?
Yeah. Gears 4, we did a lot more ensemble, sessions where they would all be in the room together, and we're like, okay, that's enough of that. Let's separate.
But we love that.
You did. I know you love that.
That's when it's most fun.
Yeah, well,
Magic
actually,
happens.
Gears 5 was the first time we actually did PCAP, and so we were doing performance capture, and so we actually got to do scenes that for them were able, like the scene you saw back at E3 in 2018 was actually a performance capture scene where they actually got to get into suits with little balls on them, and
that was fun.
Yeah.
Suits with balls.
And they're super tight, so you're like, oh,
yeah, real tight.
I must have
somebody took the 2XLs from me, and I had to wear an XL. Boy, that was rough. I was mad as hell.
It was not a happy mark.
No, Joke and John became this John.
Yeah. No, too tight. Too tight, Jack. Too much.
So speaking of which, before we get into deeper, so I was thinking, like, why don't we recreate the last year's cinematic? But
ja nie pamiętam cinematica z poprzedniego roku, ale pamiętam, że mi się podobał. W sensie, bo dlatego trochę chciałem oglądać ten panel właśnie, bo myślałem, że będzie trochę więcej o historii, ale widzę, że niestety nic nowego chyba nie dadzą.
He's the mastermind behind all of this, making sure the panel went well, so thank you, James.
You take this one, and you
I knew it.
So...
Can I I do Marcus like this?
No, that's how.
It's time to drop the hammer.
That's if you want to follow along.
Don't, Ben. You two take left. Cole, you come with me.
That's what it's like all the time.
If we could just get that version as well in the game.
You know what's funny though is that there are moments in the studio when we goof around a little. You know, things just start to
moments.
Yeah, moments happen.
Well,
moments happen. Like like that's 1, that's 2, that's 3, that's 4. You know what happens after that, and then then there's my tomatoes, the whole tomato rant.
Yeah, there's no Home Depot.
No, there's no Home Depot out here. I can't just go get tomato seeds. My tomatoes.
It's dumb sauce.
Very usable lines every session.
Yeah, exactly. Always usable. Okay, so what I figured we'd do is recreate it, but we're going to mix it up, somewhat similar to we did at Comic-Con the other time. So Rahul, as our newest cast member, I figured would give the majority of the lines to as Kate Diaz.
Yeah. I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry. I'll just be over here judging you.
Oh, God.
As we all will.
Exact.
And I thought it'd be interesting to have Eugene be Marcus.
Yeah.
Like, since he tries
So
it.
are we doing impressions of everybody?
You should be trying to do what you can. Yeah, you should be doing your voice.
Yeah, that's why do you think I'm saying that?
I can't even do an American.
Goddamn tomatoes.
I'll make it so much
So JD will be played by Laura Bailey, so it'll be JD.
Hello.
G'day. What I consider to be the most dangerous casting call is John playing Dell.
I'm glad I don't have to do it this year.
I know.
I got your number.
And Lee will play Foz in this particular scene.
Sure thing, mate.
So, so if you haven't seen the scene, so basically what's happened is Kate rushes in. There's been someone has died that's very close to her. She's reacting to it, and we place the scene where she actually rebels against JD and the COG because she's going to go on a personal journey.
Such a serious scene.
Yeah, this is a bummer.
If you're better than her,
I know. Well,
throw everything.
There's no danger of that.
That's what makes it good.
yeah, exactly. So there's very little narration, but what little there is, I'll try to do to read you into the scene.
Sure.
So you remember, so Kate is just rolled out of a snatcher as this begins, and she's running to find out what happened to the person.
Okay.
Okay.
It's not good.
Painting the picture.
Okay, so external outsider village. We see Kate run into the front of an outsider village. She sees a grim and grief-stricken Dell, along with an outsider standing over a body. She runs faster.
Oh, no. I'm so sorry, Laura.
That's what I sound like. It's okay.
Dell.
Kate. No, Kate. You can't see this. You don't want to see this. No. I'm sorry.
Zajebiste. Świetne.
We see the stem sleeve of a mysterious COG soldier reaching out to touch her shoulder. On contact, Kate turns and looks to see it's JD. He's changed in many ways. Head shaved. Testicles retracted.
We're going a different direction.
I do that all the time. What's the matter with that?
It was cold.
You're 50. You have to do that to go to the bathroom.
I know, it's true.
Gears after
Nobody likes wet balls.
Yeah.
Everybody up there, you know what I'm talking about.
The world runs on Duncan. That's all
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the world, Jesus Christ, man. Wow.
So on contact, Kate turns and looks. It's JD. He's changed in many ways. Head shaved, face scarred.
Kate. I'm sorry.
That's too soft.
I'll take it.
I'm sorry.
Let's just do Dell as Barry White.
Okay.
Thanks, JD, for coming here.
Wow.
Of course.
Can I recommend we maybe get these people out of here?
Hey, just slow down.
No, Foz is right. We need to move.
What do you?
What if I just play with like a stuffed up nose the whole time?
That's how I live.
Wait, what are you talking?
He's dead, man. Give her a minute.
She'll get her minute in the Raven.
Del, oh wait, that's you. What the hell is wrong with you?
Del, we need to leave.
I'm not going to.
Excuse me?
For months now, I've been having these dreams, nightmares, but I think they were messages. That's the only one I can do. I'm so sorry.
Good. That works.
Kate,
That works.
Kate holds up her necklace, outside her emblem out. Then she turns it around to show them the locust symbol.
What?
So, if anybody knows, Laura did anime, or does anime, and that is so anime, it's not even funny. I love it every time. In anime, you can't go, huh? You have to go, out and in. Whenever she does that. I'm like,
Oh, well,
Okay.
Yeah.
Something's happening to me.
Okay, Marcus.
Your grandmother's.
Okay.
Enough.
He's not going to be able to speak for a week after that.
We'll deal with this later. Foz, round these people up.
All right.
I need help.
There's a place up north. I think we could find you answers there.
Tylko, że ja nie wiem, jak oni brzmią w oryginale i to nie jest też takie śmieszne.
Absolutely not.
What the hell happened to you? Somebody get JD a Benadryl. My God.
We have orders.
You'll go with me?
God damn it, both of you, listen to me.
I'll go with her. Look, if you're missing, Jen will notice.
Okay. I'll push Jack the coordinates.
No, Corporal. You're coming back to New Fear. That's a direct order.
Well, Captain, screw your order. This is about you, it's about me. I need to fix this.
Kate then walks away. JD lets Marcus and Foz get ahead of Del and him. Then he takes Del aside.
Hey, watch her. Her necklace, that's a locust symbol.
Do you need a Kleenex or some shit? Well,
Yeah.
there's a locust symbol, yeah, so?
She'd never be our enemy by choice. I know that.
It's like the Rugrats, doesn't it? That's how I sounded when I was 14.
Oh, guys.
Yeah, because she would die for us.
I know that. But what if it's not her choice?
And see.
Oh, God.
I just noticed you only gave Foz one line. That's not fair on you, or me by extension.
Eugene, I'm sorry you had to do that. I have an ear, eye, nose, and throat guy you can say after the show. It's totally cool.
Oh, God, I tried my best. Don't stuck like this.
I want to see JD playing D&D now.
Hey guys, so I really
It
the
needs
mind
to happen.
player change in so many ways.
Do you have individual questions?
Yeah, so what I love about this is the fact that, like, now that I've heard this, I want a mode in the game where I can just toggle these voices. Just do all the cutscenes like that.
You guys have time, right?
Yeah, that's totally easy. Let's do another year of VO and put that out.
Yeah.
He's
I like
at
money.
work.
I like money.
I'm done. I'm ready. Wow. Oh, that's funny.
All right, so Eugene,
Yes.
you are the voice of the player. So how does you voice the player?
Yeah. Del represents.
Del.
I mean, it's the same as we did with Dom. It's like you represent what the player's thinking when you're and so you're the voice of the player.
Essentially, it's always
I'm
nice
the
to
heart
have
of the
that.
game.
Yeah. Well, honestly, like everything does revolve around that kind of person because it's me while I'm playing the game. Like, what do I want to do? The emotions that I'm feeling,
Right.
I can feel them through Del. So how does it feel being able to be that voice for the people playing the game?
Scary. Scary for a lot of reasons because the fact is, it's like, I was a Gears fan before all this, and then having to do this, it's a lot. it's a lot to do that because, you know, you put your heart and your soul into this. You want the players to want to empathize with the characters. And in 5, we have to do that, especially with my journey with Kate, to bring something deeper to the forefront. So hopefully the fans will feel what they'll feel through me, through the game. I don't know how to say anything else beyond that.
I'm watching you very, very closely.
No. Rob was like this.
Yeah, exactly.
Shut it down! Shut it down!
Cut the mics.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so Liam, you playing JD, Marcus's son. So there's a transformation that he goes through throughout the game. Obviously, the evolution of him. Can you talk about that a little bit and how it looks like to voice him?
In no way. After that veiled threat from Rod, no, it's. I really like this story that we're telling in Gears 5. It's breaking the mold of Gears probably in a way that I don't think Gears has had the chance to do yet. I think that's exciting from both like the way the game plays, but also the way that we're telling the stories now. I think that's because I don't want to be like, so this is what happens at the end. It's JD's journey's really different in this one. It's surprised me when I was reading it and going through it, and in a really cool way. It's really interesting and it's complex and it's challenging. And he goes in a different direction than I guess I expected, which I think is going to be really fun to play and experience. And yeah, I just think that the story in Gears 5 is going to bring players something that they haven't found before, which I'm excited to see.
Nice. And so you're playing Old Man Marcus.
Thanks.
How's it seeing obviously his progression through the Gears series and now he's older?
Well, what's interesting is that, I mean, I've aged with the character myself, and I think we've aged appropriately together. So to play him at this age isn't really that much of a stretch, because it's just me doing the character yet older. I mean, and it's kind of easier, if you will. But it's just been a trip. I mean, you know, the whole entire road we've taken in this franchise has just been absolutely amazing. To still be in the game, I mean, the amount of death that's happened, and to still be around, like, it's just, I was saying in the back, I was just like, you know, if there are any more games, I don't know. I just want to die a natural death. I don't want to catch a chainsaw. I just want to, I just want to die. Just like
be buried amongst the tomatoes.
Oh my God! Anya, and it's call it a day. You know, that'd be great.
Zajebiste.
I don't know.
Can I share what you said to me in one of the booths about that? John came up to me and he's like, dude, like, you gotta let me know, like, if you're gonna kill me, like, I gotta know. I got a house to pay off. Like, I got a house payment. You gotta let me know if you're gonna kill me.
I got a mortgage, just bought a new place.
I gotta know.
If you don't mind, just let me grow old with Gears.
Yeah.
It's been 14 years, dude. Like,
yeah, I know. It's been a long time. 14 years, which is really cool. But, you know, you can't have a kid in 14 years. I mean, you can, but not JD's age.
Okay.
So I was playing a little older. No, I was playing younger, and now I'm playing old. Ooh.
Yeah.
That's some acting cred right there.
Just evolving.
No, it's been a blast.
The
though.
secret is JD is actually 14.
Yeah,
Nobody's known it the whole time.
War changes you.
They grow them. Yeah. You have to mature and grow quickly.
But I mean, you mentioned before family. This is a great group of people to be working with, and to come back to something, you know, to come back to something and be able to do it again with a new. With new blood and new life into the story, it's just been a really incredible ride, and I got a hat out of it, so it's pretty cool.
And one of the things
this hat.
Probably the biggest piece of feedback we got from the trailer we showed, or the cinematic we showed last T3, was where the hell's Marcus's beard? You can't have Old Man Marcus without his beard. So everybody will be happy to know Marcus has his beard back. So the game ships with Marcus is having his full beard back again. So he's truly Old Man Marcus once again. So
a lot of death, but life as well. Life in the beard.
Life in the beard, yes, exactly.
Bearding life.
Laura, you're playing Kate. So obviously, there's some intricacies about the story that involve her and revolve around her. What was it like for you getting to bring her to life?
It's been amazing. I've been so impressed with the story progression and the writing of all of the characters, but especially me, because I read those ones
That's Tom Bissell.
mostly.
This is way over the words.
No, I mean, I think in this game, we haven't shied away from really hard character progressions and choices, and you know, it's a struggle, and I never expected going into this that the emotions that we would be going through would be so strong, and even doing the performance capture, those cutscenes that we shot together were just wonderful, and get to like fully embody Kate.
Right.
It was wonderful.
Awesome.
It's awesome. Well, it's great to hear from you guys, and I want to know what you guys have to ask, because I'm sure there's people in here that love Gears and came here to ask some questions, so we want to open up to a few people.
Is there a mic in the audience, I think?
What's the story?
I just run down there.
And I knew it. I told them in the back that you might try to run down.
I'll run down there.
Are you gonna pull a Phil Donahue and
Oh, wait,
totally?
there's the mic.
Where's the
Oh,
mic?
the mic is right there.
See, Liam?
sorry.
There's
There's
the
That
mic.
mic over there.
Sit back
So if you have a
stay with
question,
us.
just step to the mic.
We got a question here?
Just say,
Yes.
No, he's got the mic.
Oh, he's got the mic.
Somebody-
He's got the mic.
Go to the person sitting down.
Sit back.
Oh, there we go, right
Any
there.
question? Yeah, question here. Here we go.
Hi, yeah, I was wondering if Kate has a sexual preference in the new game?
Is it sexual?
O, dobre pytanie na początek.
Maybe she's a switch hitter. Who gives a fuck? Does that answer your question? What kind of nerd boy fucking... What is she doing? Bro,
Generalnie wybieram
I'm
akumulator
fucking bringing it. I
teraz
don't
w
care.
kamerce, ale świetne pytanie i świetna odpowiedź.
What's important is that we know she's here to shoot stuff. And that's what yes, thank you. Next question, please.
Moving on.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Rod's shoes.
Right here.
Be careful.
Yeah. We got live rounds.
He's coming
Live
to play.
rounds right here.
No, you guys clearly exhibited that you guys are family up there. Wanted to know, though, what was it like on a daily basis, or working from beginning of the day to the end of the day, working on a script and communicating? What was that like to kind of get a picture what that entails a little bit?
Extremely collaborative.
Yeah.
Extremely collaborative.
Rod's really great at that. Like
Yeah.
what is like you find out very quickly is Rod completely understands. You guys know, completely understands the world that we exist in.
Every facet of it.
Yeah, like we were talking about how you make a great DM.
Yeah. We were just joking in the back that you would make
in
the
the
greatest
Gears
DM
Dungeon
of all
Master.
time.
in the pen and paper Gears.
Because it's just so layered and everything is there, from the character Bible to the storylines. It's all there.
Right.
And to be able to be in the room and be there when it happens, when the creativity is going on, to be able to, you know, when we were all in the room together doing stuff, it's incredible, you know. I mean, it's been great, and it's always been great. That's the thing. It's been consistently great, even when these guys weren't around. And it's always been that way.
It's super. Like, one of the things we always want is the actors to bring the characters to life. So there's things on the page, but there's also things in their head that we want to bring to life. And so we always say, feel free to push, feel free to take it someplace else, feel free to explore where it could be. Because again, we're kind of doing it instinctually. It's kind of like in the moment.
One of my favorite moments happened when we were doing that, and you were like, "That's it." Somebody was saying something about plants, and I was like, "What am I, a fucking botanist?"
Yes.
And he was like, "That's definitely Marcus. That's definitely Stan." And you know, just things like that happen in a recording session when we all come together, and you know, that's a real beautiful thing.
We also get stir crazy. So I've had many a moment where, after like a week long of just recording session after recording session after, and you start going stir crazy, and somebody starts doing that, and you go like, "This is hilarious," and you're laughing and you're crying in the booth, and you're like, "This is so good, it's so great," and then it all gets edited and shipped back to the studio, and you get back, and everybody's like, "Okay, what did Rod get this time?" And they're like, "What the hell is this?" And you're like, "Oh yeah, that was really funny when I was super tired."
when I was hallucinating from no sleep. Sure.
Yeah, but no, I see. It's not that funny.
Gears 4, where I had because you were talking before, Raul, about A, B, and C's, and I was like, you just meant to do 3 of them?
Yeah.
I do 70, and they
does.
Stop, for the love of God, stop saying things.
Yeah.
He's literally the dude that would give you about 50 of them and the mic is still on.
And I think it was because we don't always record together, I think someone left the track open, and I was like, what is
just
it?
kept going.
What
He
is
just
it?
kept repeating the line over and over.
Who was there? Who was there?
It was just,
Who was there? Who was there?
Just boom. Yeah, it was just boom, 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 and I was just like, "Oh, JD, you don't have to talk as much. Shut up."
But he responded to everything, so it would be like, "What do you mean?" I'm gonna tell you in a second. What do you mean? I'll tell you in a second. What do you mean? I'll tell you in a second. What do you mean? Oh my God!
Yeah, Liam's the first, because Liam, he's the first actor I had to create sign language for, to be like, just stop. Because what happens is, because they'll go A, B, C, so you'll hear someone will record A, B, and C, and you're like, okay, great, and then maybe in that moment you can't instantly go B. So you go, hey, can you play that back? And so the engineer will go sure, and he'll press play, and it'll be A, B, and C, but while the engineer's getting ready to play, he does it again. So he does another A, B, and C, and you're going, wait, is that the recording? Is that him? Did you record what he just said? Because that was really good. Oh, but and you're just stop talking. I don't know where it's coming.
It didn't occur to me that you could still, I figured you just were like, shut up, Liam, and I was just in the booth and maybe I'll say it like this, maybe like this, maybe like that. And they're like, and I'm like, why are they so confused in there? It must be really hard to choose those takes. Meanwhile, my wife is in the audience being like, he's like that at home.
Yeah.
Come in, honey, how are you? Honey, how are you?
We might have one more. We have time for one more quick question before we run out of time.
We got you right there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Do you think we might get a little bit more background story about, Kate and her maybe succumbing to the, dark side or the locust and her having those visions? And
so there's this great game coming on September 10th.
It's called Gears
5. It's a great story about Kate and her journey.
So let's summarize it now.
When you buy it, that's when you get it.
It's what you hope it will be.
Yes, it's going to be fantastic.
I'll just say this, it's what you hope it'll be.
Yes. Yeah. But as you know, with the game, and you talked about,
really cool.
We got the comics as well, so there's tons of Gears content in the Gears universe. So
including, by the way, something that we're really excited about. So one of those things that, being with the success of Gears, is you often get to work with your heroes, along with this cast. As I got to work with Alex Ross. And so Alex Ross painted this painting.
Ross?
Alex Ross works not in digital. He actually paints, and he painted our
Bob
journey
Ross?
of Gears 5. Yeah, Bob Ross.
Bob Ross did
A little cloud in the
Alex.
but where's the little bush?
We're just going to put a little blue right now.
Anyway, I think you need to wrap up.
Got it.
A little bush right
So, okay, thank you guys so much for joining us. Thank you to everybody here on the panel. Give them a big round of applause. Yes.
No dobra, całkiem ciekawy panel. Trochę gra mnie mało interesuje, ale fajnie, bo tutaj była beka z tymi... z castem, z aktorami, którzy podkładają głosy. Dobra, jak to będzie wyglądać? Czy to będą jakieś przerwy, czy co będzie?
In my head.